合唱。南無阿弥陀仏。
南無阿弥陀仏。
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 南蛮ダーブ南蛮ダーブ南蛮ダーブ南蛮ダーブ南蛮ダーブ南蛮ダーブ。ガゴン調整が非死無常の志願不満足政府上昇が無量公不意大聖主不採庶民政府上昇が市場分の妙正長寺法空教未所門政府上昇が利欲人少年上映主凡行死具無常道一生天人知人力縁大公不生無才道少女三苦名交際集約難回避知恵言滅死根門永息小悪道通達全宗門高僧上満足異様老寺法日月主樹期天候音不言一種解放像公正苦毒法上大衆樹説法死死苦供養一切分具足修徳法元年心上満徳意三害用女仏無下地通達未不詳 願悪エリ都市最小尊志願若国家大戦の官能国書店に統一名受けナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブがんにしくろく平等性祭道法菩大心往生安楽国。ナモ阿弥陀仏。
ナモ阿弥陀仏。
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 ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモアンダー。ナモアンダー。ナモアンダー。ナモアンダー。ナモアンダー。ナモアンダー。ナモアンダー。
Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and become aware of his supreme teachings. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depths of his doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in the life of harmony, in the spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Buddha. 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 Namo Amida Buddha.
Please join me in Gasho. Anraku kokudo no shogun wa shakamuge no mikoto nite toko tomo tsukuji to nobe tamo musho butsu o kimyo seyo. The adornments in the land of peace and bliss, even by the Sakyan sage with unhindered eloquence, cannot be fully described. So says the Buddha. Take refuge in the ineffable Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone out there. So what I just read was from Shinran's Jodo Wasan's Hymn on the Pure Land. This specific one talks about the relationship between Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida Buddha. So the Sakyan sage in this Wasan represents Shakyamuni Buddha. And when explaining Jodo Shinshu Buddhism to people, one of the biggest questions I have is, so this Buddha right here is not the Buddha from India. This is not, the Buddha that we hear about or we saw in the movies like the little Buddha or Siddhartha or any of that kind of stuff. And the answer is no. And that, for us within a Western culture, starts to matter a lot because we like to differentiate things and put them into categories. And so then it's like, well, so this isn't a real person? And the answer to that is also yes and no and maybe. So I've been, as part of my studies for finishing seminary, have been taking a class on world religions. I've been having to learn about the impact of different religions and how they have on people, people perceive Buddhism through those lenses. And we've been focusing a lot on the Protestant movements here in the United States. And one of the things, even though I did grow up in one of those movements, I have found interesting is the differentiation, where everyone wants to fit their teachings within a box. And so for Westerners that grew up within this Protestant sectism, or as they call it, denominational thought process, where we take every single change in doctrine or understanding and put it in a box, when they look at Jodo Shinshu, they go, oh, this must fit in with the exact same pattern that our faith structures do. And to that end, you guys must think that you are it and that your teachings are the only one. And our response to that would be, our teachings are perfect for Bonbu, for those people who are unable to reach enlightenment on their own. But this, Buddhism, is a team sport. We do not say, this is the only way to enlightenment. Just, this is the way of enlightenment for me. This is the way for my Bonbu self to find enlightenment through the ineffable vow, the Namo Amida Butsu, from the great Dharma storehouse given to us through the Nembutsu, the Namo Amida Butsu, our access to that, something that I cannot create myself. But for the Buddhas, this story is different. There's a saying, Butsu Butsu Sonnen. The Buddhas are mindful of the Buddhas. So if I, as a Shin Buddhist, walked into another temple and there was Shakyamuni Buddha, I do not go, this is my enemy because they see the teaching different. I walk up and I bow respectfully and deeply and thank that Buddha, because that Buddha is mindful of Amida Buddha. And if a Tibetan Buddhist or if a Buddhist from another sect or another understanding of the Dharma walked into our temple, they would bow deeply to Amida Buddha. Amida Sama arigatou gozaimasu. They would be very appreciative because Amida Sama is thoughtful on the Buddha whose path they follow. This is a team sport. And so for us, this then we can apply to our everyday lives. We are not Buddhas. We are not enlightened beings. We are Bonbu. We have greed, anger, and ignorance. But we can take lessons given to us by the Buddhas. The Bodhisattva Dharmakara, prior to being Amida Buddha, visited every single Buddha land to learn from these individual Buddhas and the teachings and the Dharma which they had to share. This is how we had the ineffable, amazing, fully encompassing Namo Amida Butsu. We can learn, love, and embrace all beings, even if they think differently than we do. Right now is hard because there's division in the streets, in our homes, in our thought processes, in our jobs, and it hurts. And of course, we, being Bonbu, being people of greed, anger, and ignorance, think, I am right. My thought process is the only one that matters. And that person who I am saying is wrong is absolutely wrong. And I am the only right person in here. And the key problem with that statement is I only know what I can see around me, and because I am an unenlightened, foolish being, when I open my eyes, all I see is darkness. And this is why we look to Amida Buddha for the light shining through that darkness. And that light is the Nembutsu, the Namo Amida Butsu. So Shakyamuni Buddha looked to that light as well and saw that light and became one with the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. And that's why Shakyamuni Buddha came to this realm, to this time, to this place, to this earth, to teach us the Nembutsu. Shinran Shonin said, the reason Shakyamuni Buddha came here now was so that we could today get this teaching, the Namo Amida Butsu. So let's try to think and understand like the Buddhas. Butsu Butsu So Nen. The Buddhas think on the Buddhas. Thank you guys very much for coming and watching today's YouTube service. I am deeply grateful for the time that you spend learning and embracing this teaching, and that you have allowed me to teach you today the little tiny bit I know. So thank you very much. Please join me in Gassho as I read from the Jodo Watsan once again. Anraku Kokudo no Shogun wa Shakamuge no Mikoto nite Toko tomo Tsukiji Tsukiji to nobe tamo Musho butsu o kimyo seyo. The adornments in the land of peace and bliss, even by the Sakyan sage, with unhindered eloquence, cannot be fully described. So says the Buddha. Take refuge in the ineffable Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu.
し